Hi everyone, I hope you had a wonderful spring break and you're ready to get going again. We don't have that much more time for this semester. It'll be summer before we know it. Want to talk first about some upcoming assignments or due dates. First of all, in 2 weeks on it's March already, March 27th, you have your next paper due. This is a 2 to 3 page paper. This is more informal, so you can use personal pronouns. And basically, you have to watch a movie first and then react to the movie. So in the syllabus, you will find a list of a bunch of approved movies. The library owns copies of all these movies, so you can go to the library and check it out and watch it. It would be best if you could watch it quickly and get it back so that the other people in your class have access to it. Or even better would be to watch it there in the library and then return it right away. But again, all the movies that are listed are owned by the library. The one that's probably the most well-known is called Dead Man Walking, and it's a true story of a Catholic nun who ministers to death row inmates. And it's a really well-made movie. It was Best Picture of the year that it came out, and which was, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago. Another one that is interesting that I think is really good is called Roses in December, and it's more of a documentary. And then everything else on the list should be good as well. But again, you want to probably check them out from the library because it's not as easy to find copies of movies today. And so do it quickly, don't keep it very long so that your classmates can get to it too. Another thing coming up, and this isn't for a while, but on April 24th, you have a presentation due. And for this, you're going to pick your own topic. This has to be a topic that affects women today. So you could pick something like the wage gap or sexual harassment or something more global like women in third world countries or something like body image or the media and its message to women about our bodies. You could talk about divorce and the effect on women or single parent homes that are mostly women or the feminization of poverty. Those are just some ideas, but you have to pick a topic yourself that deals with women today. And then you're going to follow a see, judge, act format. So first you look at all the facts and then you analyze those facts in the judge part of it. And then in the act part of it, you're suggesting changes that could be made in order to make the situation better. You're not solving the problem completely, just what could we do today as Christian women to help our Christian sisters across the globe and help them have a better life or a more whole experience of humanity, their humanness. Anyway, that presentation works best if you can upload the video, you videotape yourself presenting, upload the video to YouTube. Also, you can use a visual aid if you want. You do not have to, but some people sometimes put on like a TV screen, like a PowerPoint behind them as they present, or I've seen other cool ways that people have added in visual aids, but the important thing is that I can see you presenting so that I can grade your presentation skills too. And you'll upload these on April 24th, but there's also a handout that you'll fill out for 2 other people's presentations, and you'll watch theirs and then kind of critique them. I will give you a list of who to watch, whose videos to watch, and then if everyone can, in the Dropbox, just put a link to their YouTube videos, that will be great. About this week's reading, you're reading about early Christian women still, and it starts off with kind of describing how women were categorized in 2 categories, either the pit or the throne. So they're either seen as the most, low-class people who have been created inferior to men, who can't help themselves, who are, kind of temptresses who want to make men fail and falter. And then you have women on the throne who are more like the virgins or like the Virgin Mary. And women are in either of those places, but no one's kind of in the middle. That's how they saw women at the time. So you'll read a little bit about asceticism, which is kind of a practice of extreme self-denial. And this obviously affected some early women, some of the earliest nuns and saints. And also you'll read a little bit about Mariology at the time and how that kind of developed. And just a little bit about the Mass at the time. The Masses had moved from people's homes into these big giant cathedrals. And because of this, and the way the Mass was said with the priest with his back to the people, everything in Latin, an altar rail that separated the people from the altar, people felt really removed from the sacrament. And so they turned their attention onto Mary, and they had a lot of imagination of all the aspects of Mary. And of course, they had heard stories of her apparitions as well. And so that's where we see a lot of growth in that area of theology. Also, you're going to read a little bit about women as witches. And this is kind of a fascinating time in the history of England. And then, of course, that carried into American history too. And so, of course, the witch would be seeing the woman as the pit and not the throne. And so I think you'll find it really interesting as you do the reading this week. And you're also going to read about some really interesting women who kind of bucked the system and kind of went against the norm and stand out as remarkable women. One last thing I want to mention, I don't know if you've seen this at school, but there is a class that I'm going to be teaching next spring at this time next year. And it's a class called Theology and the Arts. And we're going to be talking about how God has been portrayed through visual arts, literature, film, music. And the cool thing about the class is that at the end of the semester, people who opt to do this in the class will take a trip to Europe, where we'll go to Paris and much of Italy and see a lot of the artwork that we discuss in the class. And there are information sessions for this class coming up this week. One of them is at 5 o'clock on Tuesday, and the other one is at noon on Wednesday. And both are in Walsh 155, I believe. And so if you're interested, come to one of the information meetings. I'd love to meet you in person and give you some information. You're not committing to anything by just coming and getting the information. Anyway, have a great week. Let me know if you have any questions about the paper due next week, and I'll talk to you next week.